Hello, my name is Barbara McMahon and I am the current chair of Wellesley's Community Preservation Committee. I'm happy to present the CPC's recommended actions for the 2022 annual town meeting. The full CPC report can be found on page 173 of the advisory report. Before I begin, I want to say congratulations. This year marks the 20th anniversary of Wellesley Town Meeting's decision to participate in the Massachusetts Community Preservation Act. It was a wise decision on the part of Wellesley. Since then, Town Meeting has approved 93 CPA projects totaling over $17 million. These appropriations have funded projects all over Wellesley in all 4 CPA allowable areas: open space, recreation, community housing, and historic preservation. They touch a wide cross-section of residents and a variety of interests. Most of these projects would not have happened or not have proceeded in the same way without CPA funds. And these projects involve the cooperation of boards, committees, and town departments, volunteers working together for the benefit of the community. The current CPC thanks the CPCs who have come before, and the town can look forward to what will be accomplished working together with CPA funds. For details of the Massachusetts CPA and CPA projects funded by Wellesley and other communities, please visit the websites on the screen. Massachusetts signed the CPA into law in 2000, and it allows communities to create a local community preservation fund through a surcharge on real estate taxes. We are one of 187 CPA communities in Massachusetts, and that list is growing. Wellesley CPA funds come from a 1% surcharge on real estate tax bills. The state accrues a CPA trust from fees collected at the Registry of Deeds. That state CPA trust is the source of Wellesley's state match each year. Wellesley's Community Preservation Fund is overseen by the Community Preservation Committee. Wellesley CPC is a 9-member committee with representatives of the Recreation Commission, the Planning Board, the Natural Resources Commission, the Wellesley Housing Authority, and the Wellesley Historical Commission, along with 4 moderator-appointed members. Wellesley's fiscal year revenue totaled $1,781,448. Wellesley CPC makes recommendations for appropriations based on revenues received rather than revenues anticipated. Following are the recommended actions for this annual town meeting. As a reminder, CPA funds can be used in the 4 areas previously mentioned: open space, recreation, community housing, and historic preservation. These funds cannot be used for operating budgets, school buildings, road paving, and general maintenance. Including the $550,244 debt service payment approved under Article 8, the CPC is recommending appropriations at this annual town meeting totaling $1,660,744. We hope you will support these recommendations. Article 16, Motion 1, is a total appropriation request of $545,000. According to state CPA, communities can appropriate up to 5% of annual revenues for administrative purposes. These funds are used to pay a part-time administrative assistant who handles CPA clerical and reporting duties, to pay coalition dues, and other fees. Administrative funds are also used to pay consultants and engineers to help review and define potential CPA projects. Most recently, administrative funds are being used to pay for capital needs assessments at Wellesley Housing Authority properties. These assessments will provide the WHA with a roadmap for necessary capital work and inform the CPC on the potential to use CPA community housing funds for some of these projects. The CPC is also hopeful that progress will be made on the North 40 deed restriction, and administrative funds will be used for costs incurred there. The CPC is requesting $85,000 be appropriated from undesignated reserves for administrative purposes. Unused funds will revert to the undesignated balance at the close of the year. By CPA statute, we are required to appropriate or reserve for future use a minimum of 10% of revenues for 3 designated purposes: open space, historic resources, and community housing. The debt service payment on the CPA funds used in the purchase of the North 40 fulfills the required contribution to the open space reserve. Therefore, the CPC is requesting $230,000 be appropriated to both the Historic Resources Reserve and the Community Housing Reserve. The total recommended appropriation under Motion 1 is $545,000. Article 16, Motion 2, recommends an appropriation of $80,000 to the Natural Resources Commission for the purchase of the large weed harvester for Morse's Pond. This is to supplement the 2021 annual town meeting appropriation of $315,000 for the weed harvester. These funds will be made available at the close of this town meeting. Despite the best efforts of town staff and the town's Morse's Pond consultant to estimate the cost of this highly specialized and essential piece of equipment, unanticipated rising costs and quite steep price increases in basic materials such as stainless steel have made the cost of the weed harvester higher than anticipated. This appropriation will provide the additional funds needed to complete the purchase. Morse's Pond is an important town asset for both active and passive recreation and a valuable open space wildlife habitat. The ongoing health maintenance of the pond makes this all possible, and the large weed harvester is essential to that maintenance. The old harvester is beyond its useful life and is becoming unsafe for our town employees to operate. The DPW keeps records of the amount of weeds harvested, and we know that the health of the pond deteriorates according to the amount of time the harvester is offline. The new harvester is more necessary than ever. The heavy use of fertilizers and stormwater runoff continue to be a major source of growth of weeds in the pond. We need to do better in cutting back on fertilizer use, and we need the new weed harvester. The CPC has been committed to the preservation of Morse's Pond since the very early days of the CPC's existence. The current CPC is in agreement with that precedent and believes this additional appropriation for the large weed harvester is essential to preserving the pond. We hope town meeting will join us in that support. Article 16, Motion 3, recommends an appropriation to the Natural Resources Commission of $20,000 for a lawn conversion pilot program. The Natural Resources Commission will utilize these funds to convert a 1 acre or slightly less parcel of town-owned land from a typical power mode grass lawn to grass alternatives such as meadows, low-growing plants, and native grasses. 2 parcels under consideration are a lot at the intersection of Cedar and Walnut Streets and a lot in Simons Park adjacent to the main library. The town is already utilizing native plants and meadows in open spaces to create biodiverse native pollinator habitats. The NRC's goal with this project is to demonstrate to homeowners, commercial property owners, and institutions the value in planting with pollinator-friendly, low-maintenance materials. This is part of the NRC's ongoing effort to educate the town on more environmentally friendly methods of landscaping and yard care. The NRC has gathered information and inspiration from other groups and communities, particularly the Conservancy of the Rose Kennedy Greenway in Boston. Cricket Vlass, Wellesley's landscape planner, is working closely with the NRC, and the DPW supports this project. The NRC will also look to partner with other organizations such as Sustainable Wellesley and Wellesley Garden Clubs as the project moves forward. The first phase of the project is planned for the fall. The CPC unanimously supports this project, as well as the NRC's ongoing efforts to educate the town on more environmentally friendly ways to maintain our outdoor spaces. We hope town meeting will join us. Article 16, Motion 4, recommends an appropriation of $400,000 to the Natural Resource Commission for the retrofit of existing lights at the Diane Warren Multipurpose Field and the Honeywell Tennis Courts. At the 2020 annual town meeting, CPA funds were approved to fund a lighting consultant to analyze the existing lights at the Honeywell Field complex. While the lights at Reedy Fields are slightly more modern and still under warranty, the lights at the tennis courts and the multipurpose field are 20 years old and use metal halide high-intensity discharge lamp technology. These older lights use more energy, produce more glare, and emit more light trespass, making them environmentally, athlete, and neighbor unfriendly. With these lights near the end of their useful life, the consultant recommended the proposed LED lighting system. The LED system uses half the amount of energy, costs less to operate, and produces less glare and light trespass. The new system will have controls with the ability to adjust and dim lights according to what is being played on the field and at what level. The lighting system proposed will come with a 25-year warranty. The town has invested a significant amount of CPA funding in the facilities at the Honeywell Fields, and this lighting retrofit is a project that CPC anticipated. The Diane Warren Field and the tennis courts are facilities enjoyed by residents of all ages and abilities. CPC believes it is important for these lights to be replaced before they start failing and become a lost resource. The CPC also believes that this new system is more environmentally friendly, with significant reduction in energy usage, and is in keeping with Wellesley's Climate Action Plan. We ask for town meeting support of this project. Article 16, Motion 5, recommends an appropriation of $7,500 to the Planning Department for the restoration of the 1897 Town Atlas. These funds will be made available at the close of this town meeting. At the 2020 annual town meeting, an appropriation of $7,500 was approved for the restoration of two historic town atlases, one from 1897 and one from 1935. These atlases are used by the Planning Department, the Historical Commission, the Historic District Commission, as well as other town departments and residents. And then COVID closed Town Hall, and this project did not move forward. Fast forward to the winter of 2022. The Planning Department has re-engaged with the vendor, and the quote to preserve both atlases is significantly higher. It was determined the atlases are in worse shape than was originally thought and will take more time and expertise than was anticipated. The hands-on quote for both is now $14,775, $8,460 for the 1897 atlas and $6,315 for the 1935 atlas. The Planning Department will move ahead with the work on the 1935 atlas with the previously approved funds. This appropriation, along with the balance of those previous funds, will cover the cost of preserving the 1897 atlas. The pages of the atlases will be restored, and the books will be rebound. The Planning Department will cover the cost of digitizing the atlases, which will be done in the process of this restoration. The Planning Department is confident that now that the restoration specialist has been able to see the books in person and handle them, the quote received is firm, and the project will be completed with this additional appropriation. The CPC believes that this is an appropriate use of town's historic resources, and as it provides for the preservation and restoration of primary resources. The project has the endorsement of the Wellesley Historical Society. We hope that town meeting will agree. Article 16, Motion 6, recommends an appropriation of $58,000 to the Natural Resources Commission to oversee an active field use optimization study. These funds will be made available at the close of this town meeting. This project will be executed in cooperation with the Recreation Commission, the School Department, the DPW, and the Playing Fields Task Force. The goals of the study are to optimize the use of existing facilities and ensure equitable access to all users. To achieve this, the study will analyze field demand, scheduling, the permitting process, as well as field operations and maintenance. Over the course of the study, programming deficiencies will be identified and the possibility of reconfiguring fields and courts will be explored. The use of updated scheduling software to help ease demand for field space will also be explored. Possible capital projects to improve facilities will be identified. This type of analysis was called for in the last comprehensive plan and by Wellesley's Unified Plan. The need for athletic field space in town has been long discussed. The hope is that this study will give the supporting committees and commissions the means to develop a streamlined, efficient program for field assignments and use that will ease some of the tension surrounding field accessibility. The CPC is hopeful that this study will help inform the town of the need for future field projects, as well as best practices for the sustainable maintenance of existing facilities. CPC asks for town meeting support. The CPC would like to thank the many people who have helped bring these projects forward, with a special thanks to our outstanding town staff. Thank you.